So in chapter 13, Krishna tells us that we get knowledge. Remember, this is a Gyan Yog from chapter 13. And Krishna tells us that we need qualities. If we want Gyan or knowledge, it will not come unless we have qualities. And as you can see, the first quality is humility. If you see in this verse, the first quality is humility. Without being humble, you can't get knowledge. Right? And most important is bhakti, ananya yogena, which means constant and unalloyed devotion. And then second is accepting a master, which I was talking to you about. Other qualities are all these: humility, pridelessness, both are similar. Non-violence, not hurting anybody. Tolerance, not feeling affected by people saying things to you. Detachment, this is very important also, detachment. Okay. So when the goal and the guide is fixed, that is the first, most important and essential. Everything, all other qualities, you don't have to struggle to get the qualities. The qualities will come flowing in. When you have Ananya Bhakti, all other qualities will come by itself. The Bhakta already has all these qualities. Okay, children? Now, so what is the life lessons over here? Focus on your goal. Get a proper trainer. Always learn anything with humility, and success you will get in any field of life. Even in spiritual world and also material world, you will get the success. Non-violence is not only about killing others. Non-violence is actually not putting others in distress. Really seeing to it that you don't put others in distress. That is called non-violence. And the simple formula for self-control is to reject anything which is stopping us in spiritual advancement. How will you get self-control? What did we learn in the earlier chapters? You will feel like eating tasty and you will feel like doing different things, but connecting everything to Krishna, and then you will enjoy the higher taste, which will make it very easy for you to do self-control, to practice self-control. Then, so in what did we learn in this? This summary of these verses are, we're going to learn from 13 to 18 and 19. Krishna tells us that the soul can know the super soul, the jiva can know the Paramatma, who is the object of knowledge. That is the aim of final knowledge, is that. And that Paramatma exists everywhere. He pervades everything. The super soul has transcendental senses. It's not like a material senses. It's a totally different spiritual world with spiritual senses. And Krishna is the source of all of our senses. That's why he's called Rishikesha. And he is unattached. So, we feel, okay, Krishna is there everywhere. Yes, he is, but he is unattached. Nothing affects Krishna. He is unattached to all these modes of material world. And he is a maintainer of all the living entities. These things Krishna will explain from verse 13 to 18. In 19, Krishna will tell us that only the devotee can understand the field of activities, that is the detail of what is the body, the process of knowledge, what is a soul, what is a super soul. Who can understand? Only the bhakta. Once you will accept Krishna or God, only then you can understand. Otherwise, your mind will be full time only involved in the material pursuits and running after material, material achievements, and then failing, and then you will never have that spiritual bliss unless you are a bhakta. Okay. So in 13 to 19, therefore, Krishna will explain what is the Jivatma and Paramatma. And he says that the Jivatma is eternal and anadi. He says that the Jivatma is subordinate and always dependent on the Paramatma, because the Paramatma is the origin of the whole creation, and we Jivatma cannot say that I am Paramatma, because we are not the origin of the creation. There is a Paramatma from which all the Jivatmas have come. And beyond cause and effect of this material world is attribute of the soul. So these are the attributes of the soul written in orange here. And in this verse 13.13, Krishna says, I will explain to you what is knowable. That is, what is the end of knowledge. What is Gyan and what is the end of knowledge. So here we have a life lesson that this body has an expiry date. It will surely end. Nobody is going to be living forever. The body is got an expiry date, but the soul has no expiry date also, no manufacture date also. Okay, so don't waste time in understanding that, just adjusting the furniture because we are just in a guest house. Be ready, prepare yourself to reach your eternal home and start your return journey instead of trying, otherwise you'll be again and again being born on the same material world. So spirituality leads us to escape from the material world whenever our final exam of death happens. Okay, that is the aim of spiritual knowledge. So in text 13, Krishna is saying that the object of knowledge is to understand what is for us to, what is the aim of knowledge, to understand that Paramatma, reaching Paramatma is our goal, and to understand that this material world is temporary, to understand what is soul, what is super soul, what is the body. Understanding all that is called knowledge. So here he talks about super soul. He says that everywhere are Krishna's hands and legs, his eyes and heads and faces, and he has ears everywhere. In this shloka, Krishna is trying to say that everywhere, there's nothing you can hide from Krishna. You close your eyes in your mind, you have some thought which is not good, which is evil or trying, something disturbing. You think Krishna will not know? There's nothing that escapes Krishna because Krishna's hands and legs and eyes and heads and face and ears are everywhere. So in this way, the super soul exists and pervades everything. That is a very important knowledge to keep in mind. Then super soul is the origin source of all senses, yet he is without material senses. Krishna, when he comes in this world, it looks like he has a material body, but actually his body is transcendental. It looks like he has eyes, nose, ears, and everything. He also acts just like a normal human being, but actually he is not having material senses. He has spiritual senses. He is everywhere. He's unattached. He's a maintainer. He transcends the modes of nature. He's a master of the modes of nature. In fact, everything happens through him. What else about the super soul? In 13 verse 16, Krishna further says, the supreme truth of Krishna exists inside us and outside us. He's there in the moving and in the non-moving. He is beyond the power of material senses to see or know. We cannot, through the material senses, see him. You remember Arjuna, when he saw the universal form, Krishna gave him special eyes. He made his eyes divine so that he can see. Because without material eyes, we can't see. And Krishna, although he's also far, far, far away, he's also very, very near. So these are some things about the super soul. Krishna is explaining Gyan about Paramatma. He's giving us knowledge about Paramatma or about himself. Although the super soul appears to be divided, right? See, Krishna or as a Paramatma is there in everybody's hearts, right? He's there in everybody. He as Paramatma inside, us. And yet he is not divided. He is not many. He is one. It's very difficult to understand. Spiritual knowledge and understanding Krishna is very, very difficult. You have to have prem bhakti to get this knowledge. So he is there in everyone's heart, yet he is situated as one. Although he is the maintainer of every living entity, it is to be understood that he is the one who develops us and also devours us. He is the one who's time, right? Kala. He starts things, the creation starts, maintains and ends. Everything it is the Paramatma, Krishna. He is a source of light. In 13.18, he's again trying to make us understand what is Paramatma. It's difficult to understand. He says that he's a source of light in all the luminous objects. Krishna is, he's got transcendental brilliance. Remember when we spoke to you about Krishna is how naughtily he used to steal the butter? Then all the gopis said, you have put such glowing, jewels for him. That's why in the night also, darkness also, he can find the butter. And then Yashoda removes all the jewels and still he is bright. There's light around him because he is luminous himself. He is beyond the darkness of matter. He is knowledge. He's the object of knowledge. Krishna is the goal of knowledge. He's in everyone's heart. So these things, why is Krishna going on saying? Because we forget after this class, even, we will be busy with our things. We forget. We're not able to come to that Turya Avastha where you're always connected with Krishna. What are the attributes of the super soul? He's all pervading. He's the origin of senses. He's undivided. He resides in everyone's heart. Thus, in 13.19, Krishna says that, thus the field of activity, that is his body, knowledge and the knowable have been described by Krishna. Krishna says, I've answered your questions, some of your questions. But who will understand this thoroughly? only the devotee can understand. Again, Krishna is saying, only devotee can understand what I'm speaking in these Bhagavad Gita verses. And thus, only the devotee can attain my nature. All those qualities, no, those are actually qualities of Krishna. So when we become bhaktas, we get those qualities of God. We also have those godly qualities. And we will attain the nature of Krishna, but not like Krishna is like infinite. At least we will get a part of those qualities. In text 19, therefore, Krishna is saying that what is the qualification to understand Krishna? Look at the center, it says Mad Bhakta. Only Mad Bhakta will understand what is Kshetra, what is Kshetragya, what is Jnana, and what is Jnayam, what is the object of knowledge. Okay, so we have understood soul, super soul, and all this. So the life lesson is I'm the body, and it's so frustrating. If you keep thinking I'm the body, you'll be frustrated. If you realize I'm the soul and I'm the servant of Paramatma, it is liberating. You become free. You have no more tension. Rather than trying to be a controller, trying to control everything, give the control to Krishna, and then it will give you real happiness. So the summary of section E, that is we are going to do, is that we understand who is the real enjoyer. The real enjoyer, and Krishna will explain what are the qualities of the jiva and what is nature. So nature will come in lot of detail now. In the next verses, you understand what is material nature, and it's very difficult to understand, but at least you will read the Gita and get it, and then when you meditate on it, you will understand better. What are the qualities of the super soul or the Paramatma, and how to reach perfection? Krishna will again try to make it clearer to us. So what are the qualities of the Jivatma? Actually, the Jivatma is also beginningless, just like Paramatma. It's also beginningless. Even the nature, material nature is beginningless. It has always been there. And the Jiva is ignorant of our own reality. We are not able to understand our own reality. We misidentify ourselves as a body. We desire to enjoy this material world. And we repeatedly, because we desire to enjoy, and we have so many desires, mujhe wo bhi karna hai, mujhe ye bhi karna hai, I want to, enjoy this, I want that. These desires come in our mind and they contaminate our mind, and we have to come again from one body to another body in this material world. And we misuse our free will because Krishna gives us freedom to desire. We misuse it. We don't realize our true identity and get back to our spiritual world. And what is the qualities of material nature? Also beginningless. It's also always there. It provides residential quarters to the jiva. What does the material world do? It gives place for the jiva to stay. It controls the jiva through three modes. Now, children, this is very important. You'll be learning about the three modes in detail from chapter 14 to 18. And think about it. Every Sunday, come to the class, listen to it, read the Gita if you have it at home. If you don't have, get a Gita or go through the slides. You can also go online Gita and read about it. And sometimes, think about it. Try to learn some verses. Slowly, you will get to understand deeply. And this material nature is temporary manifestation because after some time, everything gets devoured. Right? This material nature gets devoured, though it doesn't, not exist. It's always there. It just keeps transforming. Okay, so that's about quality of jiva and quality of material nature. Quality of Paramatma, most important, he is the transcendental enjoyer. Krishna is the transcendental enjoyer. If you feel in your heart some envy, oh, why is Krishna the enjoyer? I'm also enjoying. That envy is going to be detrimental for our spiritual growth. We have to realize that everything is for Krishna. He is the owner, the proprietor. He is a witness. He gives permission. We can desire, oh, I want to do this. But will you get it unless Krishna will agree to it? No, Krishna has to give permission. Otherwise, nothing will happen. So we have to understand that. Only then we will move in spiritual life. Again and again and again, the matter defeats me. Am I investing my love in the wrong place? If you keep on getting obsessed with this material world, you will find that it's going to defeat you. And then you will understand this is the wrong place. I'm focusing my mind on the wrong thing. I have to realize that there's a spiritual world, which is my aim. So the life lesson is Krishna is watching, like I told you. He is aware of our most private thoughts and intentions. We cannot hide anything from Krishna, right? And then in 13.20, Krishna says material nature and living entities are beginningless. I told you, It's not like they were born. They are also beginningless, just like Paramatma. But they keep on transforming. And material modes, the modes of matter are products of material nature. Material modes, you will understand. Remember this word, material modes. Ye word will be, this particular word we'll be studying a lot in the remaining chapters. Nature is the cause of all the material cause and effects, whereas a living entity is the cause of sufferings and enjoyment. What does the jiva do? The jiva is associated with all the karmas. We are doing so many karmas, and then some are good, some are bad. Accordingly, we will get enjoyment, we will get suffering based on the karmas. This Krishna is explaining in 13.21. In 22, he says a living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the modes of nature. This is because of our association with the material nature. If we associate ourselves with the material nature, we will get enjoyment, suffering, enjoyment, suffering. Thus, he meets with good and evil among the various species. In this, we can see in verse 22 is depicted as a picture. So we are being born and then we take a new birth. Again, we can take birth as animals. You can see that circle, infinity circle. Like that, we are going on being born, we die, again we are born. We can take different types of births based on our desires. This understanding is called jnana. You understand this, you are a jnani. So in this body, in this 23, Krishna is telling us that in this body, there is a transcendental enjoyer who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor or the owner, who is overseer, the permitter. He is a Paramatma. The definition of Paramatma is given in this verse 13.23. In 24, Krishna is telling us one who understands this philosophy about the material nature, the jiva, interaction of modes of nature. If you even understand this clearly by concentrating on what you're learning in the Gita class, you will get liberation and you will not have to take birth again, regardless of your present position. Present position means you may be the greatest sinner. You must have done the most horrible things, but still, if you understand this knowledge, you will get liberation. If you get prem bhakti, you will get liberation. So in 13.25, Krishna is saying that some perceive the super soul within themselves through meditation. Some of them, how will they understand Paramatma? By meditating. And others, they get through knowledge. They will just read scriptures, they will try and read a lot, and then they will get the knowledge. Still others, they work through without fruitive desires. That means they will do their work very nicely. They don't have any desire for the fruits. They are able to do karma yoga. So those are the different, yogas. It can be karma yoga or dhyana yoga. So these are the different forms of attaining Krishna. So Lord is explaining that there are two classes of, we are all conditioned souls. One is those who are faithful, and then there are those who are atheists and agnostics and skeptics. They are beyond sense of spiritual understanding. Those who are atheists, they say, I don't know if there is God or there is no God. Such people, they are beyond the sense of spiritual understanding. They cannot have spiritual understanding. It also includes those who establish a doctrine of monism, who think that everything is one. They're not able to distinguish that we are Jivatma, there is Paramatma, and we have to, follow we are below the Paramatma and we are surrendered to the Paramatma. They are all included in one class. Then we have those who are faithful in spiritual life. So Krishna is saying that there are three ways. Some do Gyan Yog, some do Sankhya Yog, and some do Karma Yog, where they are working without any desire for fruits. But the devotees, this is a key point. The devotees or bhaktas of the Lord are best situated in spiritual understanding because they know that they are beyond material nature, that there is a spiritual world beyond the material nature, and there is a supreme personality of Godhead who expands as Paramatma inside every living being. Okay, so children, I hope somewhere you are understanding, even little understanding is a huge thing. You're really gaining from a little understanding. Look at this verse. Krishna is saying that again there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, they worship Supreme Person just by hearing about him. And because of their tendency to hear, they will also transcend the path of birth and death. Now, there's another important final part. This is the final part of this chapter. It's called Gyan Ch, which means once you have knowledge, it's not enough to put the knowledge in the brain and sit. You have to see the world through this knowledge, right? So once you get the knowledge, it's not that you close the book, class khatam ho ya khatam. It is how you will look at the world. Chakshu means eyes. How to acquire Jnana Chakshu. So Jnana Chakshu, Krishna says that one who can see Paramatma, living entities, that is Jivatma, and the material nature in proper perspective is seeing this world through Gyan Chakshu. That is what is our aim. How to acquire this Gyan Chakshu? By gaining knowledge about Super Soul, understanding that Super Soul is equally disposed. Paramatma has no distinction. Hey, this is a villain, this is a hero, this is nothing. Paramatma is equally disposed. Understanding that the body is different from the soul. Understanding that all material activities are performed by the body, and gaining control over mind and senses. So Krishna is telling us so many times and still we are unable to use it. Easy way to engage our senses is to do devotional service. There is a story about Dhanurdas and the mercy of Ramanujacharya at the temple of Ranganath Swami. So there is this story about Dhanurdas, and that is what is depicted here. I think today I may not be able to say. Next class I'll tell you the story of Dhanurdas. And because I want to finish and reach the quiz today, there are only 7 minutes left. Remind me, next class we'll do story of Dhanurdas. Now here we can see in 13.27, Krishna is saying that, O chief of Bharatas, O Arjuna, whatever you see in this existence, whether it is a non-living or unmoving thing or a moving thing, all these are actually simply combinations of the field of activities and the knower of the field. So either the body or the soul, they're all a part of these two things. Difficult for us to understand, but we must try to think about these things we are learning. Then Krishna says that, so in this verse, he's trying to be a spiritually realized person, somebody who's spiritually realized. He doesn't distinguish between spirit and matter in all circumstances. He sees Krishna in moving and unmoving, right? Only a combination of field of activities and knower of the field is his entire existence. So he's able to see everything as one. And then one who sees the Paramatma accompanying the Jiva in all bodies, who understands that neither Jiva nor Paramatma is ever destroyed, he actually has Gyan Chakshu. You understand this much? It means you have Gyan Chakshu. Okay, and he says one who, 13.29, Krishna says one who is able to see Super Soul in every living being equally everywhere. He does not degrade himself by his mind, and so he reaches a spiritual destination. Okay, so this is depicted as a picture here. What is the current situation of living entity? What is the role of the mind? When the mind turns to Paramatma, you are advanced. Okay, one has situated himself differently from spiritual world. That is the current situation. But you attach yourself to Paramatma, you become the actual seer with Gyan Chakshu. All right. So let's come to the last 3-4 verses. When a sensible man stops seeing different identities due to different material bodies, he sees how beings are expanded everywhere. Then he attains Brahman conception. One who can see that all activities are performed by the body, material activities are performed by the body, which is created by nature. And he sees that the self does nothing. You know, the Atma or the Jiva is not doing these material activities, it's only seeing. So you understand yourself as a seer. You become the seer or witness of what is the body is doing. So separate from the body. The seer or the Atma is separate from this body. Vision of actual seer. All activities are performed by the body, which is created by material nature. The self does nothing. And then Krishna is saying that when does the Atma attain Brahman conception? Purified consciousness can develop Krishna consciousness, right? So let's look at the last 3 verses. Here Krishna is saying that those with vision of eternity can see that the soul is transcendental, eternal, and beyond the modes of material nature. In 13.33, Krishna says the sky, due to, just he's giving a comparison. Okay, here he's saying that the sky, due to its subtle nature, does not mix with anything, but it is there everywhere. Similarly, the Jiva is situated in the Brahman vision. It does not mix with the body. Though it is in the body, the Jivatma does not, when the realized soul does not mix with the body. Here Krishna is saying in 34 that the sun illuminates all the universe, right? The sun, it illuminates all the universe. Similarly, the the Jivatma inside the body is illuminating the body by consciousness. So when we die, the consciousness will go, but the body is actually, it's only the body which is getting, mixed with the earth and getting destroyed. The Jivatma doesn't actually die. It's there forever. So what is the destination? One who knowingly, constantly sees the difference between the body and the soul can understand about liberation and can attain the supreme goal of life. Only those who have Gyan Chakshu can understand slowly difference between body and Atma and can attain the ultimate goal of life, which is, being one with the Paramatma. So positive engagement, easier, simpler, and definitely better than artificial control. So here, Krishna, the life lesson is that constantly engage yourself in devotional service. It's easier than artificially forcing yourself to stop engaging with the senses. So with that, it's 2 minutes left. We finished chapter 13. It began with Arjuna's 6 questions. What is Prakriti? What is Purusha? What is Kshetra or field? What is Kshetragya? What is Gyan and what is Gayam? And Krishna has answered all these. And in the end, he explains what is Gyan Chakshu. I hope you have all understood. And please keep chanting. And I'm going to post this link of the quiz today. I hope you will all be doing the quiz. Next class, we will do the stories. 2 stories. We'll do one of Krishna and we'll do one of Dhanur Das. I think I will discuss that story as well. Okay. So let me share. Anybody has any doubts? Thank you for joining the class.
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am, you said there are like 2 classes of conditioned souls. One is faithful in spiritual life, and the other one's like atheist, agnostics, and all. So, is being an atheist or the skeptics and all, are they like bad for having that belief?
They are basically, they are basically ignorant. Those who are
they don't believe in God. They don't believe in the existence.
They don't believe in existence because they don't have knowledge. Gita is giving us the knowledge that Krishna is there. Krishna is coming and telling you, I am there. I am the Paramatma. I am here for you. And if you can't believe that, then you are an atheist or an agnostic. That means it's not bad or something. It's just that, they have to undergo many more lives before they understand that I'm actually stuck in this material world. I'm actually the soul. I'm eternal, and my aim is to reach Paramatma. None of the spiritual knowledge will open to somebody who's an atheist. So Krishna is saying in this whole chapter that the spiritual knowledge related to the spirit or Atma is open only to the bhaktas. Krishna is going on saying, only if you become a believer and a devotee of Krishna, can you understand the Gita. That's why I constantly keep talking about Krishna and say Krishna stories, because once you have the belief that there is a Paramatma who is the controlling, who controls everything, if you don't understand that, you first of all will not understand Gita. The spiritual knowledge will not even open to someone who is an atheist. So Krishna is saying that conditioned souls are of 2 types. There are many atheists and agnostics and skeptics in the world, but for them, spiritual knowledge will not open. They will simply have to go through many, many births in the material world. And then, maybe in some births, they might turn to become bhaktas. Nobody will stay atheist forever. I guess eventually they will at some point also be, reach towards Krishna. So it's not wrong or bad. It's just probably not time for them, to understand Krishna and to become a bhakta. And spiritual knowledge will open only to a bhakta.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Anybody else? Yeah. Thanks for the question, Arya. Anybody else has any doubt? I'll post this link. Please attempt the quiz. It's a simple quiz. This time I have put many more questions. But it will give you, when you do the quiz, you will understand how much of chapter 13 you really understood. Okay. So shall we end the class today? It's 11.
Yes.
Take care. Have a wonderful Sunday. See you next Sunday with chapter 14 and some stories.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Bye.